Hey everybody, Dave here. This is a single video in my 15-part series for Let's Build in Blue Prism using Notepad++. I'm assuming that if this isn't part one, then you have seen the video prior to this. Let's get started. We can deal with navigating to the Windows list. Is that what it's called? Hold up. Windows. And then it is a list. I'm going to have to rename everything. Rename all of those? I don't think so. Get window list. Okay, so we got navigate to window list. Get window list. Close window. Close windows, right. And then probably what we do is go put in, fill in these preconditions and postconditions. But in this case, I'm the only one calling it, so I'm not going to waste the time typing that in. And I don't ever expect this to go to production. So it's going to remain on my computer forever. Once we leave this, we need to be able to close that window. Let's just go ahead and make it simple, and we'll close that window right here. We need to spy this OK button. Identify, Win32 mode, button, and OK. Highlight. Cool, good to go. Let's name this button OK. Click OK. Oh, I didn't name it. OK. Action, global mouse click, center, OK. And then we should be good here, but maybe what we need to do before we leave this is verify that we are that this window does not exist anymore. Which means that up here where I have this group, let's just call it this. Then what I want to do is identify this whole window, and we'll just look for this to not exist anymore before we let the process flow continue. I'll drop a wait stage on here for a little bit of an intelligent wait. Windows list condition. What do we have the choices here? We have check exists, check window active, check window attribute, get window text. Okay, so we'll do check exists. We'll say equal to false. So does it not exist? Disappear. And if it doesn't, then we'll just throw window list. System exception. Window list did not disappear after clicking OK. After clicking OK. Connect. Now, at the beginning of this, do we want to verify that we are on this window before trying to click this stuff? I guess we could, right? Probably won't make our automation that much less efficient. So the problem is every single time that you check for an element, it's gonna take time to look for it. So if you're looking for it here, then looking for multiple elements here, then looking for the same window to disappear, like, you know, that's gonna make your automation take longer. But I think robustness over efficiency. Now, the only difference here, well, you just copied it from the bottom, right? The only thing I need to change is I want to look for it to exist before I start clicking on stuff. So I didn't change anything else. And I just want to change the message window error window list. Window list did not appear. Oh. Okay. Let's link this. So I'm going to close this by clicking OK. And I'm going to start this right here. Okay. It should wait for me. I'm going to click Window. As soon as it appears, it should start doing its thing. Boom. Wow. Okay. Now we do need to test this down here to make sure this works. After we click OK. So we're going to simulate that. I'm going to set next stage on window list disappear. And I'm going to hit play. And now it's running and it's waiting for it to disappear. Click OK. And now it went down to the end stage. So we're good without throwing an error. I think that this is now good to go. We can publish, close windows. I haven't decided yet whether I want the get window list to be, yeah, we do have to make that exposed to the process because the process has to pass into us like, hey, what windows do you want to close? Get window list, we should probably make sure this one's going to probably call on navigate to window list, and then close windows needs to navigate there. So either we let the process navigate and make sure that we're on that page before we do either of these. I think that makes sense. That way we're not navigating multiple times. So we will expose this. And the only thing that's important for this to be called is that the Windows, this button exists. So we can drop let's use that same one from before. I'm not going to link it in to the process flow until after I've set it up. Did I seriously not rename that? Silly me. Window list appear. Main menu window button exists. This one. Check exists. True. Okay. Let's just change the error main window. Say could not be found. I'll click OK, and then I'm going to do the same thing at the bottom. This is actually going to be exactly the same as this one. So this is a little bit of a performance hit, or not a performance hit, a little bit, it's going to be a little less efficient because on this page we're checking to see that this exists and we're checking for it at the end of this page. But unless it became like a huge problem, I personally prefer that. Checking for it twice. So window list appear. There we go. Cool. So let's connect both of these in. Rearrange the page because I'm OCD. Oh man. Oh man. It's driving me nuts here. Okay. How's that look? Fantastic? Okay. What it's doing is main menu window button exists. So does this exist? If it does, then click on that button, then click on that button. Here's where we might have a little bit of an issue because see how slow that appears? Blue Prism works really fast. I think maybe that might not work if it's running full speed. Let's find out. Oh, okay. It worked. So let's see if we run into that problem. I expect right here for it to struggle a little bit. Right here, I expect it to be going too fast, and when it tries to click on this button, it won't be able to find it. I think we have tested this successfully, so let's publish it. Tested and published. Navigate to window list. Now the other one that the process is going to need to make this part work is to get window list. So we need to make sure, we need to do the same thing as this one is doing. So that's one thing. Do we want to click OK from here? I think we need to make another action that navigates away from the window list. Navigate from window list. Is that intuitive? You just need to make sure that we're on the page before we click it. Navigate from window list. And then we need the OK button. Here. Main menu. This isn't right. I think I copied from the wrong place. I need this one over here. Yeah. This is actually window list exists. Window list disappear. And then my close windows action is not going to click OK. I think though what it could do is it could check its own work and verify that, it could call get window list and verify that the windows it intended to close it actually did. But let's not worry about that. And let's just leave it open-ended here. We are not going to check for any screen to actually be loaded or anything by the end. Same thing for get window list. It's just going to verify that it's on this page. All three of these are going to do the exact same thing there. Window list exists. Let's rename this one exists. Could not be found. Could not be found. And did I change this one? Could not be found. Okay. So now we make sure that on all three of these that the window list exists before we do anything. And in this case, when we get the window list, it's just going to return the list. It's not going to close anything after that. Close windows is going to close the tabs. Did we test this one? We haven't tested this one, have we? Well, we need to retest them all, don't we? Okay, play. What? Oh, right, because it closed it really fast. We should test it just in case, though, that... Let's... step, and then it's not going forward till I click this. Now it goes forward. Set next stage. Let's step, and it's waiting for this window to disappear, so I'm going to click OK, and it goes forward. Cool. So we can prove that. Sometimes the problem I've had in the past is I've assumed that I've used the right element in here to watch for it to exist or to not exist, or I think I've put the right value here or whatever. And what I actually did was wrong. And when I thought that it was checking for something to exist or not exist, it actually wasn't. It was just ignoring it. Like if you watched the monitor value series, you know that I did that with document loaded and parent document loaded. Silly problems. All right, so let me just stop and say something really quick here about Blue Prism in general. You'll see that a big difference between Blue Prism and other RPA tools like UiPath, everything in Blue Prism is done purposefully. You don't get to do anything, and you can say what you want, like is it good or bad? I don't know. You don't get to do anything that is accidental. There's no record feature in Blue Prism. Maybe there will be someday. I don't know, but there's no record feature. There's no when you spy elements in a web page and stuff like that, like almost nothing is done for you in that regard. It gives you a little bit of suggestions, but you have to go in and choose which things you want to select and deselect and whatnot. That even gets done in UiPath eventually for real development, but as far as like demoing the capabilities of a tool, Blue Prism, you go in and you have to show, you actually have to do everything on purpose. You have to manually make sure things are set up right. Whereas you could skip those steps in other tools. So in here, where I'm purposefully making sure to wait for certain elements to appear, that I believe that's implied in a lot of other tools, and that's fine. I think it's really a matter of preference, and I haven't really made up my mind which way I would prefer. But I've gotten used to knowing I need to look for elements before I try to click on them. The problem there is that there's an efficiency hit. So if it's implied in the tool that the tool waits for a button to exist before it clicks on it, then it only waits for that to exist once. Whereas with Blue Prism, I'm waiting for something to exist before I move on to try to click on it. And then when I click on it, it looks for that element to exist. So it actually does it twice. And that's it's fair enough. It's good or bad. It just depends. So let's go ahead and test this from the process. Is that what I want to do? All right, thanks for watching this part of this 15-part series in Let's Build in Blue Prism, where we work with Notepad++. I'll see you next time.